This is a recording to go over what we did in week 1 of Environmental Systems 1 for those who missed the class. So the first thing to say is that everything that I do, all my communications with you are through Canvas. You should use this first. Go to Canvas, see if you can find what you're looking for, then ask me. I'm going to put it on student view just so you're this is what it should look like for you. For example, if you go to assignments, I would set them by type, not by date, because this is going to give you a more organized layout. So just learn to use Canvas in a way that's useful to you. It's pretty important because it's where most, like I say, that's how I communicate with you. So I'm leaving student view. So in week 1, we talked about the syllabus. I'm not going to do that. You can read it. And that's our contract, everything that you need to know about the basics of the course is there. In the general modules, I always put, I have a resources module where I put general information. So for example, this is a book that we officially have readings from. I typically am not really focused on the readings because I don't know how to get you guys to do them without having assignments. And our assignments are more design based in this class. So that's why I sometimes have longer lectures that you need to be there to listen to because they give context information, and you'll see in a second that it's mostly images, so it doesn't really help you to look at them as much when you haven't heard the lecture. And then every week there is a module about the week. So for example, this first week I posted this lecture, and you'll see that it's mostly images or definitions, things like that. So go through it. I try to make these somewhat thorough because it's almost like the book that I'm reading to you live. But so that's the first thing I'll do is just go through this and see if you can glean anything from it. But like, for example, this, you're not going to know what I was talking about, or this. So anyway, you got to be in class. But at the bottom of the lecture are some slides that are about data, and that's what the assignment is about this week. And we're heading toward creating a chart in Excel that looks something like this. That's the assignment. So let's go back to Canvas. If I go to the modules this week, it will say what the assignment is. Here it is. You click on it, and it takes you to a document that's detailed, telling you exactly as close as I can to exactly what you need to do. Read these, and then ask me questions about what you read here, because this is our contract. And again, I might say, no, you don't need to do that, but if it's in the assignment, you will need to do it. And then we'll have like a little argument about if I said no or not, and maybe you remembered right, maybe I remembered right. So read the assignments, do what they say, ask me questions about them. Okay, so maybe we should look at it then. Basically, the idea is that, like I said, we're generating a chart that looks something like this. I want you to do this in Excel on your computer. I gave you a Gobi sensor in class. You're supposed to download the Gobi Home app, and you have to make an account. If you don't make the account, then you won't be able to download the data. So you have to. That's all you do. That's the only reason you're doing that is to access the data. Okay, so you go back to the module. We have some data that I provided for you. So this is I did a demo in class. I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to open this data. This link is to the actual data from that you're comparing. So just realize that there's data here that you made that you're going to need to access. I will say I think it's fine that the data in here is for days that will not be the same as the days you're using for your assignment. You can either ask me to get you the data for a given day that you want it, or just use old data, I guess. Because one of the main things I'm trying to do is just get you to learn how to do the assignment in Excel. So actually, I'm gonna change that. Just ask me for the data for the day or days that you end up using. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this. I'm going to open the file, but I want to download it. So this is an Excel file. If you haven't used Excel before, you have access to it for free. through Microsoft 365, download it. I'm going to save a copy to my hard drive. I'll just say, you know, video, and actually, sorry, I wanted to, did I download it? I wasn't paying attention. I saved it online. What I want to do is download a copy. So I'll put it somewhere, save as. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. And now I'm going to open it. Okay, so what do we have here? This is data that I've laid out. Um, if you haven't used Excel before, I'm just going to dive into it and show you some tips on it. What we want to do, so what we have here is, this is, I went walking around. I live in Hoboken. I walked out, I was in my apartment, then I walked out. I walked down to the PATH station, took a train, went to New York City, did some stuff in New York City, and I had my sensor with me that whole time. So I got a full day's worth of data here. And then I'm going to compare it to, we have at Ed Hall an outdoor weather station and a indoor sensor in the library. And so I'm going to compare, this is the outdoor, this is the, no, this is the outdoor, this is the indoor. Um, I'm going to compare, make a chart that compares all that data. So the first thing I'm going to do is come here to, I'm going to insert a chart. I'm going to do a scatter plot. Now, scatter plot is just a type of chart that lets us display or graph an X versus a Y axis. And I want to do it just with lines rather than with a bunch of points. So, and again, you can play around with this stuff. I'm going to do this somewhat quickly. But that's the kind of chart I'm going to use. But first, I'm going to select all of the data that I want to put in the chart. So I'm going to go, and what I've got here, by the way, is um, every 15 minutes, our weather station publishes that every 15 minutes. And so in the Govi app, I can't show it to you because it's on my phone, but you can export data and you can set it for the date range you want. So you pick a day or a couple of days, and then you say, I want to export data every 15 minutes. You hit, you tell it you want to export it to or send it to the email address that you've set up as an account, and then you will get the data. And so that's what this is. I cut and paste it into this file, and then I cut and paste this data from that I got from the weather station at Ed Hall, and this is the data I would give you. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this. And come over here to insert charts, my line scatter plot, and you can see miraculously I already have this chart here. Maybe I want to make it a little bit smaller because I actually zoomed out there. Yeah. The point is, it doesn't really matter. I can do whatever I want to with this chart. Control Z back. But okay, let's start to manipulate this. And by the way, let's go back to that. Let's see if I can find that quickly. Yeah. We're trying to generate something like this, right? So that's just what I'm heading towards. So let's just look at this for a minute. We see that I've got, so the red and the blue here are the data of me walking around New York City. The dotted lines back there and this down here are from the Ed Hall weather station, right? So Ed Hall in and out. So this data actually looks the same as, is the same as this. But what I've done is I have massaged it so it's clearer. And that's the point of this. The first thing we want to do is get this data to where we can understand it more clearly. Looking at that, it's really hard for me to read it. And then I want to analyze it. Okay, so let's just go through this. Um, I can, give it a chart name, just like that. Now it's like a Word file. I can say, you know, Clark and Ed Hall, whatever. I'm not going to spend any time thinking about this, but if I wanted to make this bold because it's just like a Word file, I can do that, right? I can add, so if I click on the chart, I can add various elements. So I'm going to add axis titles. Um, I've already got the legend down here, but like I could turn that legend off. If I turn it back on, it shows up over here. Um, I could now click on that legend. I know I'm going fast, but of course you can pause, right, and do whatever you need to do. Let's see, where is it? I guess it isn't there. I guess it's here. Yeah, I'm going to do it at the bottom. So that's where it was before. That's where I like it. Maybe it's kind of tight, so now I'm going to come in here, select on the chart. I can move this around however I want. And so right now I can come in and give this. I'm not going to be accurate with this because I'm not even going to think about it clearly because I'm just trying to get through this quickly. But date, time, or something. And usually you'll say hours. Actually, I'm not. Yeah, what do we? We're gonna. Okay, it's day. Okay, it's month, day, hour, minute, and I'm seeing that from here, right? I'll show you in a second if I remember how I got this to have this layout because that's a little bit it's not completely intuitive. I can come in here and put this is going to be the temperature and relative humidity. You did not hear the um, lecture, so you may not know what relative humidity is. You're going to have to either look it up or ask me or look at the slides and see if you can figure it out from there. I'm going to, one thing I want, this is, I think, because I made this so large. How do I do this? Yeah, I'm making this a little bit smaller so I don't have to go mess with the font size too much. So I think you can see I'm just playing around with it. At any point that I want to, I can export this to, for example, PowerPoint, and I still have access to a lot of these editing features, but then I'm in PowerPoint, or I can put it into Word or wherever I want to. Okay. What do we want to do next? So I want to show you how, if I go back to the data over here, um, this is already formatted. So any of these columns, if I click on it, you see Excel is divided, just like Word, is divided up into these sections. And so if I'm here in the numbers section right now, this is set up as a general number, so it's really just text. I could make this a dollar sign, I can make it percentage. I can make it whatever I want. Let's go back to general. So right now, this is actually a custom setting here. I know I'm going fast, but you're just gonna have to, ride with me and go back and learn it, at your own pace. I'm gonna click on this little button here, open this up, and see, right now I've got month, day, hours, minute. That's actually I made this little this formatting. I could have started. It could have been this, for example, because that's a standard day setting. This is a little Excel is basically a little coding language. If that confuses you, don't worry about it. You don't need to do much with this, especially on this assignment. I'm just showing you that this is how I got this particular formatting. And if you don't use this file, you may need to figure out how to do that. But that's what is being displayed here in this x-axis. So I'm going to just have, since I just mentioned that, I'm going to go and play around with this. I'm going to select that axis. You see when I did that, this window opens up over here. And so I can, I'm going to rotate the axis, and I'm going to stretch this out so that I can see the whole thing. I can move this to the middle if I want. I'm going to, now I'm going to change the range here because I don't want to have these big blanks here. So this is a little bit weird, but let me just show you. I'm going to click on this, and just for some reason, for this one thing, it wouldn't be true if I clicked on, like for example, if I click on this axis, I get a meaningful bounds, minimum and maximum of 0 to 100. This is because this is a complex uh, layout or a number, it doesn't show it the right way. But if I just copy exactly, if I say 8.3 dash 000, hit enter. It didn't do it. Let me just actually do this. I paused a second because I had an issue here. I actually went back and adjusted this slightly. Just so don't worry about this layout here. I just want to get it accurate for you right now. 8.3. This is actually a pretty complicated little maneuver. All I'm doing is I'm making it to where I don't have any space on the edges of my graph. The main thing I'm trying to get you to do here is just get the basic idea. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but Excel is something very powerful that if you don't know how to use it, you should start learning. All right, so I've got this basic chart, but I've got a sort of layout here, but I haven't named these series yet. So, and I haven't looked at the data itself. So let me show you how to do that. Um, I'm going to right click, go into select data. So here's all these data sets called series. I'm going to go rename them. And the order is going to be the same as the order up here. So it should be accurate. So let's just see. I'm going to edit this one. I'm going to say this is Clark. I think it's temperature, temp. I'm just going to say T. And then I'll just do Clark. I'll just do two of these. Clark RH. If I say OK, see I've renamed these two. And I've got and it's this one and this one. You can see the colors are aligning. Okay, so I would do that for all of these and name them whatever, these are et al. Inside, temperature, inside relative humidity, et al. Outside, temperature, outside relative humidity. Now, what else can I do here? I'm going to just create a border. So I'm going to go solid fill. Oops, sorry, wrong. I want solid border, not fill, solid line. I'm going to make it black. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. I could do the same thing on the inside if I wanted to, but make it not quite as bold, perhaps. Leave it at the 0.75. Sometimes, you have to zoom in to see it. So, I mean, you have to play around with it. This is your designers. You're also figuring out how you want this to look yourself so that it's clear to you. Let me just show you some basic things I can do here. I can change the color. So I could make this one, I think I made it red, right? In the version that I made that's the example. So let's make this blue, just so we're consistent with that one. I'm going to now come in and make these others. I'll leave them in the same color, but you can do whatever you want. I'm going to I'm going to make them dotted, some other pattern, and maybe give them a little bit less, make them less bold. And I can do this however I want. I could make these all different, right? I could make this one that, whatever I want to do. I'm going to, and again, going super fast, you have to stop and pause it. I don't care about the exact things, the exact specifics of this, especially since there's just a few of you who weren't in the first class. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a leg up here. I can come into if I select the whole chart, I get this general topic, the chart area, and there's a bunch of stuff in here that I can do. Like I can turn off the major horizontal axes, and I can get out of that. Oops. Let's see if it does what I want. I'm sorry, the grid lines. I want to turn them off though. Of course, I was saying that they're solid. I want to turn them off, so I'm going to no line. Sorry, like I said, I'm kind of going fast. No line. This is looking more like what I had in the. Let's see if I come back to here. I'm going to give it. I'm going to make this. It is already black. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Oops, sorry. No fill. Solid line. Maybe I'll make it 1.25. All right. So then the other thing I did. Let's go back and look at the chart that you're trying to copy here. Doesn't look exactly like it yet, but I mean, we're starting to get there. Um, let's add some labels next, and then I'm just going to stop because I just want to get you the basics. Let's see. So if let's say I want to, I know that. So what was happening is I was walking. This was all when I was in my apartment up to here, and then I went outside. It was a really hot day, so I could label this point and say, left apartment, or started walking, in New York. I mean, started walking outside or whatever. If I select that point and I right click, I can say add data label, and then I get a label there. I pull it up, it'll have a leader on it. I can also come back and I could give that point. Actually, I'm going to delete this first. I think it's easier to do this first. So I'm going to give this, select that point, come back over here, go to marker. Again, you're like, oh my God, there's so many things in here. It's true. You just have to dive in and learn how to do this. And again, I'm not worried about it being, you're not going to be experts yet. But let's see, marker. Oh, it's because I didn't put a type here. I want to make this round. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. So there's my marker. Oops, that's too small. See, that's what happened. Okay. That's maybe too big, but whatever. So now I'm going to select that again, that point, and I'm going to add a data label. I can actually come in now and I can say for the number, like, do I want it to be, remember we were talking about the categories? I'm going to make this a number, and then I'm going to give it 0 decimal points. That seems, I like that. And I can move it around. And so I could add a bunch of these. I can change this leader if I want to. I could make it, I can make it black, whatever. Um, what else? And then I can come in and, and the point is that I'm saying, this is an important point. So maybe I would give it a label. I can, I can change let's make that black like that. I like that. Um, and so I can type a number in here now. Maybe in this case I have to put a text box in there. I didn't want to go that direction again, so I'm going to show you a different way. If you just had pretty much, I think you can just do this with any shape. I would start, make the shape, um, format it the way you want. Maybe change the color, the weight, whatever. Um, and then say, then you put and for some reason the default on my screen right now is that these are not, they're not black. So I just have to change the color of it. Um, You can do the typical, like I can move this around in the box by changing its formatting there in the paragraph, make it bold, whatever. So I could make one of these and then Control C, Control V, and then move them around, in the space of the, that one's too big. I'm just trying to, that's the basic idea. And then so I would have, if I'm doing what I was doing in the assignment that the sample, sorry, totally screwed this up now. I might have it there, and then I could Control Z and Control V it, and bring it to the side, and then have a description. What else do I need to do? Let me look at the thing I made. Oh yeah, one other thing is I can put in uh, shapes over it. Like I can say this is while I was in the apartment, or this is to sunrise or something. Make a box, and then I can control it just the same way. I can control its color and its transparency. I can adjust this to wherever I want. And I can do several of these. That has a border around it. Maybe I don't want a border, so I turn off the border, etc. At any point, I can select this. I can just say Control Z. I'm sorry, Control C, and I can go to PowerPoint. So let me do that. Let me just open up a new PowerPoint. And I can paste this into PowerPoint, and then I have access to all these, the same tools here. I would do it on my hard drive because I think the PowerPoint online is not as robust. All right. Now, I realize that is an incredibly fast introduction to this, but I hope you understand. This is me just trying to help you catch up. Um, did it sloppily, but I wanted to give you the basics. You can, of course, ask me questions. Um, and I'll see you in class next week. All right.